Good morning. It's the 16th of September, Sunday. I just watched your video, the long one where we talked about the national conventions. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch either one. It really doesn't matter. They're both have agendas that are counterproductive to a certain extent, and they also both have good points. The reason why I didn't watch them is because they're commercials. They're commercials for their brand. The presidential elections become more about packaging than it is about politics or about what's right. And I think you said it in your video. They're going to say whatever it is to get themselves elected, and in a lot of cases it's how can we scare you enough not to vote for the other guy. You know, the Democrat spiel is class warfare, which you also kind of talked about, divide and conquer, the haves versus the have-nots. They say the Republicans are going to give all the money to the rich and the poor are going to suffer. The Republicans say to the Democrats, they're socialists, they're going to take the money from the rich and give it to the poor and cripple the economy. Let the rich create jobs. And I think you kind of missed the point a little bit in your argument. It's not the Kardashians that we're talking about. It's not even the super rich that we're talking about. It's not Dell. It's not Gates. It's people like your boss, people like Pat, people like my boss. Not the super rich, but the people who are bosses, the people who own companies, who have 100 employees or 50 employees, or if that individual decides, I'm not going to do this anymore because it's not worth it, and fold it up, that's the end, and all those people lose their jobs. I think that you got to be careful with taxing the rich because there's a point of diminishing returns. At a certain point, if you tax a person so much where it becomes no longer worth it for them to try. If I make $1 million, if I work hard and create jobs and have employees and make $1 million and the government takes 60%, well then if I make only $400,000, they're only going to take 10%, then I'm only going to make $400,000. You gotta create an environment where people want to work hard and they're rewarded. And again, I'm not talking about the elite super rich. I'm talking about the upper middle class, lower upper class that have small businesses that create jobs. And as far as Romney goes with his money, Mom was talking about he doesn't pay his taxes or his money's overseas. He does pay his taxes. He does have his money overseas. But that's the nature of what we've created here. It's a bad business environment. If you have money, you don't keep it in America. The tax system penalizes you. You're penalized for being successful right now in America. A few years ago when Ireland had a really bad economy, they basically came out and said, we're not going to tax anybody. If you bring your business, your company, your factory to Ireland, free tax. And now their economy is booming and taxes are up because people are working. I think it's unfortunate that you live in California and I live in Texas because California's going for the Democrat regardless of who it is, and Texas is going to go for the Republican regardless of who it is. It's really those 8 states that are the, borderline or independent or swing states, whatever you want to call them, the Ohios, the Pennsylvanias, the Floridas, that are going to determine this election. The states that are already pretty much considered Republican or Democrat are pretty much going to stay that way, especially the big states. California, New York, Texas, Arizona. Those states are going to go where they're going to go. So I really checked out on their conventions because, like I said, it's the big, giant show. As far as what I want the government to stay out of my business. I don't want high taxes. I want a strong dollar. I want low gas prices. I want our foreign policy to be more. I think you're right about the wars. A lot of that was knee-jerk reaction, and we kind of gotten stuck. We kind of probably went off half-cocked there in the 90s, and after September 11th, and now we got to kind of see that through at least to a certain extent before we walk away. But we're walking away, and from all indications that I've heard, so much of this president's policy has been focused on the domestic. My understanding, watching some of the news shows and listening to some of the analysts, our foreign policy is really not great right now. And as regardless of what Obama went out and apologized for a bunch of stuff, our current policies are not any better, maybe even worse. We're shown as weak. We're training people in Afghanistan. You can probably look this up, but that we're training soldiers and people that are supposed to be helping us, and they're turning around and they're killing us. The Pakistanis are taking our money on one hand, and they're taking money from the Afghans on the other hand, and giving them weapons, and so they're playing us from both sides, and there's a lot more going on, and isn't really part of the debate right now. I haven't had a bad life while Obama's been president. I think that he is a good man, good father, inexperienced politician, probably has not got our best interest, you and I, at heart in terms of what he's doing. We're in that big middle part that he doesn't really care about. He's catering to people who have nothing. He's catering to the lowest common denominator, which happens to have large numbers. The poor, the indigent, the old. And I think that in our lifetime here in the next probably 20 years or so, the next 5 elections, you're going to see America really, really change one way or another. As the baby boomers die, that big voting bloc that wants Social Security and is promoting the Ponzi scheme of Social Security along with the Medicare and the Medicaid. I mean, you can't fix those systems because the people that need that to live aren't going to let you. So it'll go bankrupt. It'll run its course, and those people will pass away, and that's going to be a huge swath of Americans that are going to be out of the voting system. And then you'll see us will be 50, 55, and we'll have to make a decision on whether or not we're going to continue with that. But as far as this election goes, my state's going for Romney, your state's going for Obama, and it's unfortunate that it's like that really, it's just the nature of where we live. But whoever's for smaller government and pro-business is who I'm going to vote for, and I think they both kind of suck, but, I may vote for Ron Paul. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm going to post this video, and I'm also going to post a video of Michaela doing some gymnastics. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.